What's up, everyone? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. And as usual, we'll be checking out some more Reddit posts today. So feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. My coworker told everyone we're married. We're not even dating. Last year, I left on a leave of absence for a few months to take care of my elderly parents. Then I returned to work. Apparently, during that time, one of my coworkers began telling people we were married. Not as in work wife, as in legally married, and everyone believed him. Honestly, I had no idea he had any feelings for me, and I don't think he knew I would be coming back. I'm an introvert. I keep my personal life private and don't talk about myself much, but the fact is, I have a husband, not him, who I've been married to for 10 years. Not wanting to cause him embarrassment, I privately went to our boss, explained the situation behind closed doors, and asked for a department transfer. Even though he's never sexually harassed me or made a move on me, I'm very uncomfortable being around him right now and don't want any contact with him. My boss agreed, said she would speak to him, and though she didn't have the authority to move me to another department, she would see to it that we wouldn't be put on a team together, and kindly offered to adjust the schedule so he wouldn't be in the office at times when I was there. I've tried to handle this whole mess as discreetly as I can, but today I lost it. He walked into the break room while I was there, and I basically yelled at him in front of everyone there, saying I'm not his wife and to stop telling people we're married. I know this was not the most mature way to handle the situation, but I was at my wit's end. What to do? After I yelled, I think he was in shock because he said nothing but immediately left the room. However, there was definitely a palpable tension between me and my colleagues who had witnessed the whole thing. As I said before, I didn't want to cause a scene or embarrass him publicly. Unfortunately, I was in the moment, and I let my emotions get the best of me. I fear there can be no good resolution to this situation. Either I've just exposed him as a liar to my coworkers, or they think I'm the one lying, since he'd apparently been telling people we were married for quite some time. Since I can't transfer departments, I'm entertaining the idea of putting in my 2 weeks, but I'm still emotionally reeling from what happened, and I don't want to do anything impulsive or make the situation worse. And moving on to the update. About a month after the break room scene, I still felt like I was walking on eggshells to avoid my, quote, husband, and I noticed the attitudes from my manager and coworkers changing for the worse. I ended up leaving for a similar job that pays better and is just a healthier environment overall. I hate how we call everything and everyone toxic nowadays, but that truly was a toxic environment in retrospect, and the lack of support from management and HR was finally the big red flag that sent me packing. Some of the commenters mentioned stalking and safety because the man seemed a bit obsessed. While I've seen the guy a few times around town, there hasn't been any interaction between us, and I don't think he or any of my former coworkers know where I work now. Nobody's attempted to contact me and I can breathe easier. I wish everyone at my old job well. I hope they can learn from this situation, and I thank everyone who commented for their encouragement. My boyfriend, 25, won't ask for my hand, and my dad, 48, is staging a family boycott on my wedding. Is my boyfriend being selfish? I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years. We both just finished school and are finally ready for marriage. He proposed last week, and I happily said yes. I could not be happier. I love him, and he is going to be an awesome dad someday. But my boyfriend is very new school, and my dad is kind of old school. My dad was beyond mad that my boyfriend did not ask my dad for my hand before proposing. My dad said he was willing to hear my boyfriend's apology if my boyfriend formally asks for my hand at a dinner that my dad said he will pay for at the restaurant of my boyfriend's choosing. He will bring my boyfriend's favorite wine to celebrate. I spoke to my boyfriend last night and he won't budge. He doesn't believe in that tradition. My boyfriend, who witnessed his father be abusive and possessive with his mom as a child, has always felt strongly that women are not property. He thinks the tradition of asking for her hand is repulsive. His point is that he's met my whole family and gotten to know them. He says they have always known his intentions, and he never made it secret that he was in love with me and wanted to marry me and have children. He feels he has done enough to announce his intentions, and all of them seem to approve of him. He says that at this point he only needs my approval to marry him and nobody else's. So yesterday, my mom told me that my dad, who is not even speaking to me because I won't put my foot down with my boyfriend, is calling the whole family and telling them to not attend my wedding. My mom says that my boyfriend is the one treating me like property by not letting me have a say in his decision to not observe a tradition that my 2 older sisters' husbands observed. I told my mother that I understand where my boyfriend is coming from and that I have decided to do away with the tradition of him asking for my hand. So my mother is obviously mad and said that I should be ready for serious consequences. I asked her what, and she would not say. But from talking to my sister, she said that they would blackball us from all family gatherings. My 2 sisters and my mom have told me my boyfriend is being selfish. The wedding is set for August 9th. I'm worried that nobody in my family will attend my wedding. Edit. I'm getting some comments about my boyfriend asking for my parents' blessing instead of permission or hand. I just can't see the difference. There might be one, but I don't see it. Is there a big difference? And before moving on to the update, a commenter says, regarding how OP said my dad feels like he is being very accommodating. They say no, both he and your mother are being controlling. And they are attempting to make you choose between your fiance and them. Choose your fiance, otherwise you're setting precedent for this type of behavior and interference for the rest of your marriage. And OP says, this is what I'm afraid of. My fiance and I don't practice Catholic religion like my family does, so I wonder what will happen when my kids aren't baptized and all that. And so the update was posted 2 years later. The wedding went on as planned. My parents stuck to their guns and boycotted. One of my 2 sisters attended and is now happily blacklisted from our family. Nobody else from my entire family showed up, including my 2 brothers. The wedding was a little unconventional. My sister walked my husband down the aisle, and then his sister walked me down the aisle. I wanted this because my sister-in-law actually introduced us and helped me get my first date with them. There was no questions about who gives away the bride or even about objections. It was normal other than that. There has been no contact between me and my family other than my one sister. My mother has made it a point to send me a card every time that they have a family gathering for holidays or birthdays at their house, to let me know that my father says I'm not invited. I get one almost every month. I don't even read them anymore, I just toss them. I don't know why they keep sending them because I've made no effort to contact them and I live over 3 hours away, so it's not like I will run into them by accident. The reason I came back to post this here is because some people here made a prediction that came true, that they would come crawling back when we had children. I am now expecting our first child, a girl. She will be the first grandchild for my parents. My parents found out about the pregnancy a few months ago through a family friend. They didn't waste any time in making demands. Not requests, demands. My boyfriend and I are not religious, but I had a Catholic upbringing. I don't practice at all by choice. My mother called me back in April telling me that my father wanted our daughter's middle name to be his mother's first name. I said no. My father was listening in on speaker, so I went ahead and told them that they were officially uninvited from all birthdays, graduations, and any other important dates in her life. My father called me half an hour later, crying and begging me to come stay with them for the birth, so my mother could care for me. I said no. He also said that he had already made arrangements for his priest to baptize her at his church, but that I needed to agree to naming her after his mother if I wanted this to happen. He said he'd already planned a big celebration for the birth and the baptism that he was paying for. I said no to all of it. He went from meekly trying to sweet-talk me to raising his voice at me, and I hung up. He called a couple of more times to apologize for losing his temper, and again begged me to reconsider giving birth at a hospital near them so they could visit us. He denied having any knowledge of my mother sending me cards to uninvite us to any family functions, and even said he specifically asked her to invite us, but he was told I declined every time. He lets my mom do the dirty work so he can later hide behind her and deny he had any knowledge. He's done this since I was a little girl. He does this every time he wants to drop the hammer on somebody, but be the good cop also. He'll never change. He denied having any knowledge of why anybody in the family missed my wedding. I told him our daughter would not be baptized or Catholic at all. No offense to Catholics. I told him he was too manipulative and controlling and I didn't want my daughter exposed to that. He's too toxic and just venomous. Coincidentally, the day and for several days after that phone call, I got tons of calls and emails from my brothers, their wives, my sister, and all my aunts. They all wanted to apologize for missing my wedding, and all had specific excuses and wanted to make plans to be there for my daughter's birth. I banned them all from her life until she's old enough to decide for herself to let them in. My husband was a little surprised and not sure about banning everybody forever. He's more leaning towards supervised visits if they want to drive to us. My dad has been calling him like crazy, but we are a united front. My husband is deferring him to me, but giving me ideas as to how I can give a little if I decide to. But with my family, there's no giving a little. They want it all. For now, they're all banned. I will reconsider when the youngest of our children turns 18. For now, my dad will have to settle for sucking up to my husband while I stick to my guns. Unlike him, I don't mind owning my decisions, even if it means I'm the bad cop. I'm not ready to give up a relatively drama-free, stress-free life to allow my dad and all his sheep back into our lives. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that everyone has different traditions, views, and beliefs, and sometimes those differences clash. In the best of cases, both sides can find a bit of understanding with each other and accept their differences, and say, I guess we are a bit different, and it may be a bit frustrating, but I'm not going to expect you to do this if you don't expect me to do this. However, OP's father and their family took it to the absolute extreme. This is beyond just following a family tradition. What they want is control, and if OP and her husband don't conform to that, then they're just going to outright exclude them from their life as some sort of punishment, it seems, because they lack the mental capacity to accept or even tolerate anyone that's different from them. A parent that would disown their own daughter over something like this, and even any other family members that didn't participate in the boycotting, is not a loving parent at all. And this isn't even a religion thing necessarily. It's about narcissistic and controlling people. Now, I can definitely see how going against a tradition like this could cause some tension, and that kind of thing can usually be moved past after understanding that everyone's different and everyone has their own views and traditions and beliefs. What if OP's fiance's tradition is to specifically only ask for the woman's hand in marriage who he wants to marry? There's no situation where one person's tradition or beliefs trumps the other one. But the fact that the father and the rest of the family cut them out from their lives entirely really shows exactly what's going on here. And it really is just kind of hilarious that he now wants to be in his daughter's life again now that he knows he's going to have a granddaughter. And OP just kind of turns it back around on them and says, you know what? No, actually, that's not going to happen. Now you're the one that's disowned. And even now, they're only trying to act sweet and accepting because they have an ulterior motive. And even then, they're having trouble keeping up that fake facade and are still trying to control OP and OP's daughter. If they truly want to be in the child's life without trying to assert control over how the child's raised, then they're doing a pretty damn bad job at it, and are kind of just making sure that they're not going to be in the child's life. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Reddit content like this. So thanks for watching everyone, take care, and I'll see you next time.